Hey everybody, welcome in. This is Julie Max in the Maine Stamper. It is Monday. It is the first Monday in March. So if you're joining me live, welcome. I am so glad you're here for your card class for Maine. It is March 4th, and this is an awesome day. I love the March 4th date. So this is our first card class in March, and I am so happy to welcome you in. We just finished 2 months of celebration, January and February. We really dove into that celebration mentality of getting extra things for free. And I want to point out that the extra things for free don't end necessarily with celebration. I always offer card kits every week, and I offer a free gift to you when your order hits $50. So you can still get something for free when you're ordering with me as well. So this card class is going to be absolutely amazing. We are springing in to spring. So March is going to be, we're going to be turning the calendar, the seasonal calendar, right? It was 50 degrees here in Maine today, and it was sunny, and it felt like spring. So we're trying to get through mud season now. Hi, Patty. Patty knows a little bit about what the weather is like here locally in Maine. So mud season kind of started early this year, and the sun was so welcome today, and the 50 degrees really made it feel like spring. And today's class is also going to make it really feel like spring. So if you don't know, Stampin' Up! Has some online exclusives that are dropping tomorrow. So there's going to be whole bunch of new product. You may have seen some of them. You're going to definitely see some tonight because I am sharing this Simply Zinnia Bundle. We're going to talk all about the beautiful zinnia flowers. They're going to be bright and gorgeous. Hi, Sandy. So happy to have you on here tonight. So we have a really fantastic class, and I'm really excited. I'm always excited to share classes with you. So please continue to say hi as you jump on. I like to know who's watching. If you're watching on YouTube, hi everybody on YouTube. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me more than you know. So let's talk a little bit about the online exclusives. They are going to be available to everyone tomorrow, March 5th. And I'm going to show you a Simply Zinnia bundle tonight that you can start to buy tomorrow. Now, before you jump into the cart and add it, I want you to know that the Simply Zinnia bundle is part of my March Card Maker Club. So what that means is I'm going to be featuring that for my March Club, which anyone can join at any time. You're going to get some consumable products like a half pack of Designer Series paper, ribbon, and an embellishment. You're going to get 8 card kits, 4 designs, 2 of each. You get the PDF directions as well. You get a free little surprise gift from me, and you get the opportunity to get the bundle that I feature at catalog price or at online price, right? So I'm saving you the shipping and the tax. So if you think you love the Zinnia bundle and you want to get my card class this week to make 6 cards, and you get my free recipe on Thursday when I do a fun fold, so now you got 4 cards with zinnias, and you want 4 more cards with zinnias, then you definitely want to get signed up this month for my Card Maker Club. And if you want the bundle, let me know. I would love to order that for you tomorrow because I don't want them to sell out. I have a feeling that this Zinnia bundle, when I show it to you, it's going to be so popular that it's going to be gone soon. So if you're thinking you want the Zinnia bundle, please let me know. Hi Sandra, hi Mary, hi Barbara, look at you guys, Valerie, Lois, so good to see all of you. If you're interested, hi Lexi, in this bundle, please let me know right away if you want this as part of your Card Maker Club, and you'll get it for the catalog price, which is actually $52. So it's going to save you shipping and tax, and I'm going to pop it into your March kit. It's going to be amazing. We'll talk about that later. And if you have more questions on that, because I know there's a lot of information, I'll be sending an email round. So make sure you're on my list or follow my Facebook page as well. I share information there too. All right, let's get over to the workspace. We are going to be talking all about the zinnias. So this is the zinnias over here. Let me make sure. Yep, we did. We transitioned over. The Simply Zinnia Bundle. Now, if you're a fan of the zinnia flowers, they really got this one down. So we have a nice big stamp set, which we're going to be using on our first card. So when I say big, it's pretty good size. It's a nice size that you're going to use on a card, and you don't have to put a lot of other things to fill in, right? Because this takes up a good amount of the room. And then there is a nice single zinnia right here. There's some leaves. And there's really beautiful sentiments. Sending flowers and thinking of you. So this is a thinking of you card. Words fail to express my gratitude. It's a gratitude, thank you type card, but also it says thank you so much. So you can use these. You can definitely use these together, which is nice. The only stamp I didn't use for tonight's class is this little tiny one here. I don't always use the little detail stamps. I probably should work on that. I feel like that would be a good one for the envelope or the inside of the card, and I don't usually share those with you. Now, as part of the Zinnia bundle, you get the stamp set, and you get the dies, and these are the dies. Oh my gosh, these are so awesome. So you're going to be able to cut out your images here, and then you've got some bonus dies that are going to actually do flowers that you don't even have to stamp. You can just shape and go. So that's fantastic, and I actually did a nice little sheet here to share with you as well. So I did my cutout here, and I'm loving these cutouts. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Jody. Jody's excited for Saturday. Me too. This is my week to get ready for it, so I'm really excited too. So I cut all the dies out, put them on a piece of Melon Mambo. I felt Melon Mambo was a nice color choice for this one, right? Bright and fun. So you can see here the outline of the shape that would work with the stamp, right? And then the flowers. So you can see how you would put these together. You can actually put all three of these together to make a fuller flower if you want this on the bottom. You've got some inside parts for your flowers. You've got a nice long stem. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to share this, but this little part of the flower, so it's the stem, two little leaves. This is that little bud that sits underneath the flower. It has a smile. It has a smile. I'm not even kidding. And when I look at this, I see deer antlers. So I always see different shapes and things in there, but these are the dies. So this is the bundle, Simply Zinnia, part of the Card Maker Collective Club for March, as well as my class today. I love it so much. Now, there is separately a Zinnia 3D embossing folder, and this is a thick folder, so it's one of the thick ones. You'll use your gray plate when you emboss with this, but I want to point out this is a little tricky, right? So we usually use this black line here on the bottom of the embossing folders, and it helps us to line up our paper straight when we want to emboss it, right? So our go-to is usually to pop it in here. This is the seam right here where it's closed, right? And we roll it through the machine this way. But if you do that, I just want you to be aware your zinnias are going to be sideways. So I don't know if you can see that or not. So this is actually going in the landscape position rather than zinnias in the portrait position. So I am using them in the portrait position tonight. So when I did my cards for the kits, I had to put my paper in this way so that it's up and down, but I still had to run it through my machine this way. And it always feels a little bit tricky when you have to do that. So a little bit about the orientation on the Zinnia folder, that's kind of important. Side note, I am also going to be using in our card kits tonight another new online exclusive, and this is the Fun Patterns embossing folders. So there's a couple of smaller embossing folders. So you're going to see one of those later on tonight as I share the card kits. Now this item from this suite is actually it's sold out for right now. These little gems, they're called Adhesive Backed Shiny Sequins, will not be back in stock until the end of April. So these will not be part of the Card Maker Collective Kit. I'm going to come up with a different embellishment, but they're meant to go with this suite, so eventually they'll be back in stock. I wanted to share with you how quickly demonstrators that get to pre-order soak up those products, and then they're just poof and gone. So here are some of the Designer Series paper. Now you do get a half a pack of this with the Card Maker Collective Club. You will also get some of this, a little bit of this with this week's class. Look at that purple. I love it. So here's some really colorful zinnias. I'm showing you fronts and backs here kind of quickly so you can just see these fun, bold patterns, really springy, summery, right? We love the ones that you can split in half and make card fronts just super easily. And lots of great colors here, lots of great combos, pinks and purples. And then we have a little bit of petal pink here at the back. So this is the paper pack. And all of this will be available starting tomorrow. Now there is so much more in the online store that is coming up. So they are really good at sharing things with us that we cannot wait to get our hands on. So we're going to talk a little bit about tonight's class because we're doing the Simply Zinnia card class. And just like every week, I'm offering card kits with your $40 order using my host code Z4X6DJMG. This is good through Friday, end of day. When you do $50 order with me this week, I'm giving you the Adhesive Backed Dragonflies and Birds. So these are the Dragonflies and Birds. They are little adhesive sequin type embellishments. So you're going to get a full pack of that with your $50 order this week. And here are the card kits. So I'm just going to show you the card kits really quickly here. We are using, and it almost looks like as I show you the kits and I show you the card bases, does this look like Halloween to you? Because I didn't plan it this way. I'm definitely feeling spring, and I think when you see the cards, you're going to realize kind of where I'm going with them. But these are the card kits, and we're going to start out with the green card first. So we're going to start there. If you have questions on the ordering, just let me know, but we're going to start out with the green card. And I'm just going to check messages here one more time really quickly. Okay, perfect. We're still good. And here's our very first card. So I'm going to point this out to you that what's beautiful about this card kit, actually pretty much all of it, right, is that if you wanted all yellow flowers, all orange flowers, all pink flowers, all purple flowers, the coloring part is up to you. And you can definitely swap in flowers that you have if you don't have the zinnias, you don't want the zinnias. So you can see the little embellishments on here. So this is our first card kit. And as always, there's 2 each of everything. So 2 envelopes, 2 card bases. Let me set those aside. You're going to get some, these are die cuts from the rectangle dies. So I'm going to grab those out. And we're going to do a little stamping, of course. You're going to have some of this really awesome, we looked at the designer series paper. Now what's nice about this kit is you could technically, if you wanted to, you could use this side of the paper as well, depending on what you're doing with the rest of your card kit. But either way, you've got some green there, and then we've got a little sentiment piece here. So this is going to be an interesting little kit because I'm going to start with this beautiful flower. Now these are the red rubber. I didn't really point that out earlier, but it's obviously they're the cling stamps. They're not photopolymer. And this one is a big stamp. And I'm going to just go ahead and ink this up in my Memento ink. So this is a big guy. You're going to need a bigger block for this one. So I'm just going to make sure I cover all of the parts here from this zinnia. Now this is beautiful. I love this little trio of zinnias, if you will. So we're going to put it on here on this white paper that's included in your kit. Again, if you're stamping other things, you can definitely feel free. Now normally this would be a great time. Look at the beautiful image there. I mean, even just in black and white, I think it's really lovely. I cannot say, I'm in love with this one really well, and I'm glad that I'm going to be designing 4 more cards for the March Card Maker Club. So we're going to color this a little differently today. We're actually going to bring in Old Olive, Melon Mamba with Berry Burst, Highland Heather with Gorgeous Grape, and Pumpkin Pie with Daffodil Delight. Now you might be wondering, well, what, how, why? We're coloring these completely different. You could grab out your blends, your markers, your watercolor pencils. We've done all that, right? We're just going to go with some daubers. We're going to go with coloring this with some sponge daubers. So this is kind of like the, I don't want to say it's lazy because you're still coloring, right? And you have a lot of colors here that you have to play with. We're going to start with Pumpkin Pie. I'm just going to put a little bit on my dauber here, and I'm going to start with this flower over here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of orange here right to the center. So you can see here that there's orange right there in the center. I'm done with Pumpkin Pie. Was that quicker than coloring? I think maybe it might be. You know how I feel about coloring. I will color, but if I don't have to color, maybe I won't color. So now I'm going to come in here with the yellow, and I want you to notice that I'm not trying to color just the flower. I'm going out and around. We are going to be die cutting this, so some of this is going to get cut away. So I'm not worried. This is like easy peasy, right? So there's our yellow flower. That one is done. And of course, if you wanted to do all yellow flowers, you could continue just like that. We're going to do some purple next. So I'm basically starting with the darker of the 2 colors, and they're kind of colors that go well together. This happens to be Gorgeous Grape, and I know the grape is a little dark, so I'm going to be a little bit lighter here when I go into the center of this flower. So the dark goes in the center, and then the lighter color, I should say, is going to come around to the outside. Now I'm going to go into the Highland Heather, again, dauber. And I do have daubers for all my colors. I have little labels on them, unless I don't have a label on them. I guess I should say I try to have labels on them. These other ones need labels on them. I just haven't put them on yet. So this is kind of a lighter color, so I'm just going to daub away here until I'm happy with the color of purple that's on here. And here's my purple flower. So it's got a darker center and the petals come out a little bit lighter. So we're done with purple. Now we're going to go on to the Berry Burst in Melon Mambo. So we're going to do Berry Burst first because it is a little bit of a darker color. So again, this is kind of a dark color for the center. So always start out with just a little bit of, don't squish it down too hard, right? If it's a really dark color, you maybe want to go a little bit lighter of pressure until you're happy with it. Because if you go too dark, then you're pretty much stuck with a big blob in the middle. And I can tell you that from experience because the flower on my card is not my first attempt. Okay, so I learned that, you know, you got to be a little bit more careful sometimes with how you apply the color. I love the Melon Mambo. It's just beautiful, right? So this one is, again, going kind of out. It almost looks like we're spray painting, right? We're getting that effect that we've just added a whole bunch of color here. So there's our flowers, and aren't they gorgeous? I hope you guys are thinking they're gorgeous too. Now we're going to come in with Old Olive, and I've got my Old Olive daubered here, and this is where we're just going to go ahead and just add some on here. Again, we are going to be die cutting, and the die cutting is pretty close. This is going to be dark. I think probably I re-inked my Old Olive because this is definitely darker than when I did it, a lot darker when I did it earlier. I've been noticing lately that I've been doing a lot more re-inking. So there it is. It's all colored and pretty. Now, this to me could even be a card front. I don't think, you know, it has to be, every little section needs to be, you know, perfectly stamped and colored. And I think this is artistic as well. And I love these colors together. It's a great little combo. So let me move my daubers out of the way. We're going to bring in the big machine here, and we're going to do a little die cutting so you can see how easy this is. So I crank out my plates, which I keep stacked right in there, and we're going to find the cookie cutter die that goes right around this image, and we're going to line it up here. So this just takes a second to kind of, now we're focusing on the black outlines, not where I colored, right? So obviously I colored outside the lines today, like on purpose, colored outside the lines. So you definitely want to focus on the black lines because that's going to give you the best shape. So we're going to crank this through, and I hope that you're, maybe this is something new to you, like that you're like, wow, I would never have thought of that. I would never have thought to just use sponge daubers to color, right? Something a little bit different. All right, so Margaret says she loves the DSP. I do too, it's so pretty. So here it is, all cut out. So really, I mean, other than the greens, the flowers look like we colored them very specifically. And I even think the outline of this is really pretty. It's got that little spray of extra color around it. It is definitely a good month to have spring come into play because, my goodness, we're just pretty much over the whole the drab days, the dreary winter. I know some of you guys are super lucky and you're having like beautiful weather already. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. We're going to get through mud season. I just know it. We do every year. But oh my goodness, every year I'm like, oh, mud. Although I think I'm enjoying mud season now better than I'm enjoying ice season. So, you know, you live and learn, right? So while I was chatting, I just stamped my thank you so much on there. And we've got that all set. Again, these are the red rubber stamps. So it does take a little bit more practice sometimes to get them lined up. Now I am not going to use this bold pattern, even though it matches, right? So this is what it would look like. I'll dry fit this real quick, just so we can see. We're going to kind of angle these a little bit crookedly, like so. Although, I don't know, maybe I like it, maybe I don't like it. I don't know. I think it's a little bold, a little too bold for me, right? So this is going to come down here. I think I really like this. I like the stripies a lot better. I think I prefer the stripies. This definitely is a different pattern, but if you prefer it, it's going to work because it's the green colors of our card here, right? We got the black in here for a pop of bold as well. These are some bold flower cards today, and I felt like the black behind them, or in each kit, as you may have seen in each kit, there's a little bit of black. It makes it a little bit different, right? So a little bit of adhesive here on my Designer Series paper. I'm just going to layer this toward the bottom here of my card front, making sure I have it going the right way, right? So this here on the bottom, and then we're going to go ahead and put this piece down with some dimensionals. So we're going to give that a little bit of lift there. I'm going to bring in those handy black dimensionals that I talk about randomly. I don't use black every week when I'm card making, but when I do, I really do enjoy using these darker dimensionals. They disappear right in, right? So it's camouflaged in. And we're just going to put this here at a little bit of an angle. Now you could, if you wanted to, you don't have to angle that. And I should have pointed it out before I started. These nest beautifully together, and you could nest them just like that if you wanted to, right? And kind of keep everything going in this direction. Actually, maybe we'll do that this time just so we can kind of compare and contrast. So I'll do that, and this could have gone on the card straight up and down. I didn't think of that as I was working here. I put that down too quickly, but I like to change it up just a little bit, just enough while I'm doing my cards, so you can kind of see a little bit of the difference of if you nest them or if you kind of zigzag them back and forth a little bit. Now this is just going to come down here with a little bit of adhesive in the middle, And I didn't go all the way to the outsides because I do want to kind of come off a little bit, perhaps. Maybe not quite as much on this one because of the way that I've got my layers going. So we're going to just kind of put that on there at an angle, and then we're going to glue this down. So you can see this is a pretty easy card to put together. We're going to put it kind of down this way. Now you could cut little banners on this sentiment if you want to. Sometimes I will angle the ends of each of them. But oh my goodness, I have to say that this one turned out a lot brighter and bolder. And my secret, I know, lean in, you want to know my secret, right? My secret to making this one darker was very simply to refill my ink pads with more ink. So I noticed that my ink pads were getting a little dry. It is still heating season here, so it takes a little bit to, it takes a little bit of moisture out of the air. So I re-inked, and the flowers look so much brighter and bolder, don't you think? I love it. Lois says this is new. All right, good. I love to like try some different things out and just kind of give you some thoughts here as to what else you can do with your inks and your papers and your, all the things that you have. So we're just going to go ahead and add a few little gold embellishments on here. I think these are so cute. These little guys were sold out for a while. They came out as an online exclusive as well. They are still an online exclusive, but they were sold out for a while and they're back in full force. I really like it. Now I would like to know if you like the more matted look or if you like the original, where I kind of went sideways with both of those. I think I like the matted look a little bit better. So that's card number one. That's a look at card number one. I'm going to clean up here real quickly and we're going to pop into card number two. And I'm just checking to make sure everything looks good on camera there. Looks like I might be frozen for a bit, so hopefully I'm not frozen to you. You just never know, right? So card number one is done. We're going to move on to card number two. So this one, again, as mentioned earlier, I have a lot of black cardstock and a lot of bold colors for these card kits. And this is Poppy Parade, Flirty Flamingo, and Melon Mambo. Now I adore these pinky colors together. So we've got three of them and they are embossed. So hopefully you can see the embossing. As I mentioned earlier, I had that new embossing folder. You're also getting some cardstock, some cute little squares of cardstock that you get to play with at home. And then we've got a white layer here as well. So this is our card kit, and I know you're ready to check out the next card. Let me make sure hopefully everything is still good on the end over there. More matted is good with Valerie. Valerie, I totally agree. I like it more matted. And it's funny because I just kind of play as I go. And then I discover what I like too. So I'm glad that I have this opportunity to kind of do that with you. It makes it a lot of fun for me. All right, let's check out our next card here. This one, again, has a black card base, which is not your usual card, but look at all the bright colors of fun. And they come right down into this big, bold zinnia flower. Now, this is the zinnia flower. That's the big single one in our stamp set. So we're going to actually use it 3 times. There's a die that will cut this out. And we have a little space here on the bottom for our sentiment that says sending flowers and thinking of you. And I love that this design happens to have room here for the sentiment, so we don't have to add one in. So it is nice randomly to leave a little bit of space for a sentiment without having to say, okay, I need to squeeze something in. Where am I going to put it? So let me set my card bases aside and bring in my prepped card base right here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp the bottom of this with our sentiment. Sending flowers and thinking of you. Again, I'm using the Memento. You could choose to use one of these pinky red colors if you preferred. I might turn this up this way and go this way. I want to just make sure I get a nice coverage of the ink. And looks like we're pretty good here. So I'm going to make sure I have it right side up. That's also important. And we're going to just come down here to the bottom. I'm going to eyeball it the best that I can. Again, it's not see-through. So hopefully we're good. It's a little crooked. I think my stamp is on here crooked, but I almost like it. It's a little bit whimsical. It kind of comes around and about. So I'm not sure at what point, I throw all of these things into a tote after I stamp with them. So it probably became crooked on the block. It probably got jammed up against another stamp. And I just assume as I do these things that all is well. So if you haven't removed these from your clear blocks before, these cling stamps, they have a very sticky little adhesive that holds them to the block. So you want to break that, suction with something. Take your pick tool. This blade works really, really well, right? So you get underneath there and then you can pull it without tearing. You don't want to tear the foam apart from the stamp. So you got the stamp, the red rubber, the foam, and then you've got this sticky little sentiment piece that actually helps you to know which way your sentiment goes, right? So if you didn't have these words on here, you'd have to be guessing. I think I put this on here crooked again. So let me see if I can straighten this out. This is a long sentiment. I feel like it just wants to, curl up on me here. Let's try this one more time. We're gonna take another run at this. And like I said, I don't mind the whimsical little one that happened to occur on the front of my card. So let's see if this works a little bit straighter. Yes, definitely better. So I wanted to share with you, in case this happens to you at home when you're like, well, when Julie does it, it's always perfect. I think someone told me that once and I laughed and I said, no, I make lots of craft sit-ins as well. But this one is definitely straighter across after I straightened it. But this one is really kind of cute, how it kind of rolls up and down a little bit there. But anyway, so there we go. We've got our sentiment. We straightened it out. That's what we're going with. We straightened it out. Now these pieces of paper that I'm sending in your card kit are meant to be tone on tone stamping. So I'm going to grab out my, let's see, my ink pads. Here they are. Okay, the 3 ink pads. We'll start with the lightest first. We've got Flirty Flamingo. And we're just going to go ahead and ink up our stamp here and then stamp it right on this paper. Now if you don't have or don't plan to get the little zinnia flowers, that's perfectly fine. If you have another stamp with a flower on it that will fit on here, and you don't even have to have every one of these inks. If you had Versamark ink and stamped, you're going to get the tone on tone. It won't be quite as dark, but you can still get a tone on tone without having every exact ink color that matches the paper. So that's something to think about as well. And with the red rubber, you could also use the markers. So if you have any of the Stampin' Write markers, not the blends, but the Stampin' Write water, they have the same ink as the ink pad, so they're water-based. If you have the markers, you can actually ink up your red rubber stamp and stamp color that way as well. Maybe you have a spot because maybe you're getting some paper pumpkin kits and you have some Stampin' spots. Look at how gorgeously detailed that is. I just think these are beautiful. I love the zinnias. I'm gonna keep saying that all night. I just love them. Flowers, so pretty, right? So very welcome. All right, so I'm just cleaning this off in between each stamping because I don't want my ink to go from one to the other and, get the wrong color in the wrong pad. And here is our final flower. They're just so beautiful. I love these. Now you could do these in all colors. And as I'm looking at these together again, one more time here as I'm stamping them, I think that this would make a really fantastic colorful sampler where you take all colors of zinnias and you add them onto a nice little background and you put it into a frame, and you've got just, you could do 3 by 3. You could do 3 this way by 3 across, and you could do, oranges, yellows, purples. I think this might be in my future. So you may see something with zinnias from me soon. So what we're going to do with the zinnias is we're going to take this die. This is the outline die. And you're going to play puzzle piece. So at the top of the zinnia, there's like a little petal that kind of comes up, sticks up a little bit higher. This is the big toe of the zinnia, okay? So I want you to look at your die here and kind of look at where this is right here, kind of this little notch at the top. So that's going to help you line this up a lot easier rather than spinning it around going, which way does this go, right? So the kind of flatter is toward the bottom, and the big toe right here, the big toe is at the top. So that's going to help you line that up. And I already did some die cutting earlier. So let me grab out my die cuts and I will show you the prettiest little zinnia flowers. Now, of course, they kind of look better going this way, right? Because they're meant to go big toe up. So this is the 3 colors right here after you die cut them. And now we're just going to go ahead and finish assembling our card. So let's put this all together. Now this is pretty simple too. This is a really great card to mail because it is there's very little, the embellishments are very thin. There's not, I'm only putting a little bit of dimension on it as well. So I'm just going to put this white stamped with my sentiment layering mat onto the black card base, making sure I remember which way it opens. And now this is the fun part. So the reality is, right, you have 3 colors. They all look fantastic together. What if you changed up the order of them? Now I really like the red in the middle. That's just me. But maybe you want to do the flirty flamingo in the middle. So there's no right or wrong here, right? And you could even mix and match how these go on here too if you really wanted to. If you wanted to get crazy down, right? I like that the colors kind of come down, and I think I'm going to put flirty in the middle on this one because, again, I like to change them up a little bit. So once you've decided how you want your little embossed pieces, and they have the cutest little floral design in here. These are very whimsical. I love this embossing folder. Now it comes in a 2-pack, if you saw it earlier at the beginning of my video. Online exclusive. It's the little, they're like 3x6 size. There's 2 different embossing folders. I'm going to use this one a lot. The other one is more masculine, of course, and probably I won't use that one as nearly as much. But this one, this is worth the price of admission right here. This cute little embossing folder, oh my goodness. What is not to love about embossing? It's easy peasy. So I started with the 2 outside layers of my embossed pieces, and I put them snug against the this white insert, or this white mat, I should say, that's on here. So I lined them up snugly, and that just helps you to line them up straight as well. And then once you have the 2 outside ones all lined up, it's just a matter of putting the middle one in and kind of scooching it over just to fill it in, and then have it perfectly aligned. Now this is kind of the bones of your card too. You could put any sentiment here, and you could do anything with the squares that I sent to you, flower wise. Maybe you want to put balloons on here. If you have balloons, you could put other things on here besides these zinnias. But we're going to bring in some dimensionals because we need to pop these up, make them fantastic. We're going to bring in, now I'm just going to kind of come back here to the regular old white ones here, and I'm going to show you a little trick. I love to show you tricks. So I'm going to put 2 on each of the outside flowers, making sure the big toe is up, right? Okay. This is going to come on here and a little bit lower than the middle one, right? Because they are really full. So you could definitely overlap them, but I wanted to kind of give them a little bit of an up and around so you can see them all well. This can come off a little bit here, but don't come off too far off of your card base, okay? Now, we're going to do the same thing on, oh, this is the back side, except that I must have stamped it more than once. Proof that I messed it up at one point. This is so true, right? So I die cut it. I wasn't happy with my die cut. I flipped, or something was not right. I flipped it over and I did it again. So we're going to bring this one in, and again, we're going to kind of line it up level with our other outside one here, the melon mambo. So we've got 2 on here. Is that cute? This I'm looking at this and I'm thinking pom-poms now. Now for the 3rd flower, for the middle flower, before you put this on, I want you to just I want you to put your dimensionals right onto the space. Well, that kind of snugged over a little bit closer to Poppy than I wanted it to be. We're going to fix that. Okay, so your dimensionals are here rather than, more proof that I messed up, rather than on here. And that's because if you put them on the back of this piece and then try to lay them down, they're going to probably hit in the wrong direction. But if you have them on your card base itself, now you can put this on. You can play a little bit to see how high or low you want to put it, but you're going to catch them right there in the middle. And there's going to be a smooth transition all the way across. And that is what I love about this. The way that you can add the dimensionals onto either the element itself or the card base itself. So now we're going to dress it up with a little bit of our bling. How cute. I love the dragonflies. Those are probably my favorite. So we're going to put a few dragonflies on here, and they're kind of flying up and out of this little flower arrangement. So 1 for each color, please. Because why not, right? And just kind of in random patterns as well. So not all going the same direction, not all the same height. That little bit of randomness, it just makes it look a little bit more natural, right? So there we go. And again, I switched it up. I switched it up. I think I like the flirty better in the middle. This is always so hard when I switch them up, because then I'm like, well, wait, which one? I think I do. I think I like the flirty. Originally, I wanted the poppy in the middle. Now I like the flirty in the middle. So now, once again, I'm putting it into your voting hands. Do you like the flirty in the middle, or do you like the poppy in the middle? Oh, that's awesome. And Lois has a great idea. I wonder how the zinnias would look against the black cardstock. Yes, they definitely, and depending on what colors you're using. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see the third card. Okay, hi Amy, glad you found me halfway. Hi Linda, that is so awesome. And Jody says the flirty in the middle. I think, oh my gosh, isn't this so funny? I would agree with you. I like that better too. I don't know. I don't understand how my brain works from the designing and making a card till I get till I get to hang out with you a little bit and then ask you like, what do you think? And then I always like the second version typically better. All right, the third card kit has a lot of things going on it. This is a thicker one. I can feel already the weight of this one. Gorgeous Grape. Fun fact about Gorgeous Grape, it was on unorderable status for most of February, which is amazing to me, that beautiful cardstock can go on unorderable status. Now this is where that Zinnia embossing folder comes into play, the one that we talked about at the beginning of class, where I said don't do it sideways. Make sure if you want it to go up and down, you've got to have it going up and down. So you've got it the embossed or the embossed. Yes, this is the debossed side. So there are always two sides, right? So either one look beautiful. I'm going to kind of show you the bones of this really quickly before I actually show you what we're doing. So again, we're sneaking the black in, but I want to point out that maybe if you were looking for, I know we're starting to think about Easter time cards, because Easter's coming up at the end of the month. So if you wanted to turn this into an Easter card, basically I'm going to ask you to omit the black. Now, this is great purple paper. It all looks beautiful together, just kind of like this, right? But check out this paper. Now on each side of this is going to be a little bit different depending on what zinnia pattern you're getting. So if you prefer to have this up and then just add something simple, your designer series paper is creating the flower for you on this card. It's taking out the work, really, right? So as mentioned, I said if you don't want the black in there and you want just the purple, right? So now it looks a little bit more spring, more purple, right? Without the black in, it still works. But we have some, oh my goodness, we have all kinds of stuff yet to do. Let me just grab one of each here so that I can show you what we're doing on this card. Here's our sentiment piece. This one has a little bit of a flag punch here on one end. We've got some green. Okay, I think we've reached the end. So these are all the parts and pieces that are going to go onto this beautiful card. I am so excited to show this one to you. I like that you guys are all loving flirty in the middle of the last card. That is so awesome. All right, I might be a little bit too forward here. Let me come down a little bit. I'm talking about my camera, so sorry if you couldn't even see what I was doing there for a second. I get carried away with my excitement and I forget where I'm supposed to be working. So this is our card. This is our final card. Now this card right here uses these fun dies, as I mentioned earlier, right? You can create flowers from the dies without having to stamp any of them, and you can create lots of different things. I'm sharing with you one way that you can make flowers, but there are so many different ways that you can use these flowers, and I'm going to be exploring them a little bit more as the week goes on as well. This one has words fail to express my gratitude. Love this big sentiment. It's really fantastic. So this is the card we're going to do next, and we're going to do a little stamping. We're going to do a little bit of die cutting together again. I am going to continue to put the black layer in. As I set it aside, I got to dig it back out because I do like the black. I feel like the black, white, and purple just really make this pop. This is a poppin' card. So let's just do some really quick gluing together stuff. Now I'm not going to use this bright paper, even though it's beautiful. It is too bold against our flowers. It kind of clashes because it would be too much going on. So we're going to just keep it a little bit simpler, looking to see which side of this embossed paper that I want to have upside right. So this is going to just fit right here on this black layer as well. And oh, before I get too crazy here, I'm just going to flip this over and now these are some zinnias that I've already started working on, but this is kind of a little look at least the shaped ones on a piece of black cardstock, right? So you can get some really interesting, the black is perfect. The black is a really great color choice for these bright and bold colors for sure. So we're going to put this on, make sure our card opens correctly. And also when you put this on, I want you to make sure you're looking to see the zinnia flowers on your embossed. You want them to be going up if the card opens this way, right? So don't put them on upside down so the zinnias are upside down. That would be really sad. We don't want to do that. Now we're going to put this piece on once more with those black dimensionals. If I can find them in here. I keep all my dimensionals in one of the little DVD cases. So, and I keep that kind of tucked up overhead. And it's perfect because I always know where they are. And then of course when I run one low, I throw, so I try to keep some of each size in here. And it's just the simplest way to keep them handy. I am reaching for them all the time, right? I don't usually make a card that has 0 dimensionals on it. Now there's really no orientation because it's a kind of a graphy grid color, and even though this is a darker purple, it almost looks like a black pattern in the purple paper, which I thought really worked well with, again, all of this kind of white and black. So here's some bones to your card right here, right? So we've got that. Now we have our flowers, we have our leaves, we have our sentiment, and then we have the centers of the flowers. So there is just a little bit of stamping for this one. This is the leaf stamp that comes in the stamp set. There is a die that will cut these out. So on your green paper, if you're playing along with this bundle and you have these card kits, you're going to be able to do, we want 2 leaves. So you're going to see that there's one kind of tucked down here. There's one here at the top. So there's 2 leaves on here, and you will get this piece of green cardstock where you will have enough room to stamp 2 leaves. Now when I do this, when I die cut them, there's only 1 die. So I'm going to cut them apart, and I'm going to line up my die over top of them, and I'm going to do them individually because there's 2 of them, 1 die. So that's perfectly okay. We're okay with that. Let me put the old olive away. So that was tone on tone once again. We're going to do our sentiment with Memento ink, and I've just got to find the gratitude stamp here, and I'm going to take kind of a look at it and see, did this one bend on the block a little bit? So we're going to put this right on here. Let me flip everything correctly here so I can get the ink on here. My Memento ink has been well inked up as well. Like, it's very juicy right now. All right, so I'm going to turn this over. Again, you can't really see through, but you can kind of see side to side the shape size of this. So you have to do your best. Oh, I think this is going to be low. That's okay though. Low is okay, as long as it's on there and not too crooked. So it's not too crooked. It's okay. If I wanted to, we'll flip it over. We try it again, right? This is 2-sided magical paper. So you have two cracks at this before you have to pull out more paper, right? And then you can just flag an end if you need to. So I'm going to try to come up a little bit higher this time. We're going to try one more time, see if we like this side better. This side seems a little bit more crooked to me. I think I'm going to go with my first. So you just, you play it by ear, you see which one's going to work better. We're going to check it out. Now, I did die cut the leaves earlier, so I have my 2 leaves die cut. So those are good to go. Here's our sentiment piece. And I did die cut one of the flowers, so that would be this piece right here. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you the die cutting, but I didn't want to do all unnecessary die cutting through the course of the video. So basically you're going to take your piece of cardstock, either the Daffodil Delight or the Berry Burst. That's the colors we have there. We have 2 of these fantastic dies. Now these work together to create that cute little zinnia flower. They're almost daisy-like petals, right? So they're super cute. And then we have this this black paper right here. You have a little piece of black paper, and I chose these little centers that kind of look like a little cup with little petals coming out, and we're going to die cut these. Now if you were die cutting the Berry Burst, you would have to run it through one more time to do the Berry Burst with the same 2 flower dies, but I did that. Again, I did that earlier, so those are done. And this is how easy it is to just make shaped flowers, right? I'm going to pop that out of the die, and there we go. So you have enough paper to do the same thing with the berry. Oh, look how fun. You could make stencils, and you could put 2 colors together and put a center on there. I'm just going to play here for a second. Don't mind me. My creative juices start flowing here while I'm like playing with parts and pieces. Anyway, so you get the idea, right? It's kind of, paper play is fun play. It's always fun to play with paper. All right, so I have these two little black centers for the flowers. Now there are other choices for the flowers as well, for the centers. So we're going to put these two together. We're going to kind of twirl them until we like however way you want to line them up. You can leave them so that they're not perfectly, perfect. And they won't be perfect petals. You're going to see a little bit of a gap in a few spaces, but if you do line them up, there is a way to put them on here, I should say, right? And you can pretty much line them. It's just like turning the top piece until you're happy with, actually I would use this as the bottom. It's got the bigger center base there. Well, we're going to use that as the bottom, and then we're going to turn this here a little bit until we're kind of happy with how that looks. So let me move the rest of my machine parts out of the way here so that we can work on our flowers. Now, as mentioned, so with the dies, you can choose some different centers. So these two centers work really well together in the center of the flower. So you can have this one and then this one over top. This one right here, this big open die, that worked for the card, this card right here. So we use this big open die. You can use this without stamping and then use this as a base, and then you'll have basically kind of like 3 layers. So you would see this underneath. You would see a little bit more of this underneath to kind of give it a little bit more shape and structure. So you can use 3 of these together to get a flower. But if you don't want to and you just want to use these open petal ones, you can definitely do that. So that's a little bit more on that. So let's glue together. I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive here in the middle of, again, so I chose the one with the bigger circle for the bottom, and I'm going to just put this one on here, and I think that's probably pretty good right there. So we've got those on there just like that, and now I'm going to bring in, again, another little drop of glue for the center of each, and we're going to just pop these little black centers in. Now, if you wanted to, you could make the centers orange or yellow or pink or whatever, red even, right? So you can play with the colors here. I'm just bringing more black into my card, kind of making these colors pop. And I'm probably going to keep the yellow on the top. I really like the yellow for the top. So now we have everything we need to finish our card up. So we're going to bring in our 2 little leaves. So these are going to come on here, top and bottom. So you're going to see here that I'm rotating this leaf set so that it's kind of upside down and coming this way, right? So I'm using the 2 outside corners here for my leaves. And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive here kind of toward the base, because they are going to go off a little bit, and I don't want the sticky glue to be everywhere. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. So just kind of on the base part right here, and then I'm going to pop these down here toward the bottom. So now we've got room here to get our flowers in and our sentiment in. Now you're going to see there's a gap here, right, between the 2 flowers and this leaf. Now these aren't glued down yet, but I'm just kind of showing you dry fitting here. So you're going to see here that this sentiment is going to cover the distance here a little bit. So, and if you don't like that and you want this down farther, maybe you want your sentiment more in the middle. Like, this is where you really get to play. So it's a lot of fun. But I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I'm pretty confident that I want this guy up here. This is going to be one of those matching cards. It's definitely just going to match. And this one's going to come down this way. So I'm overlapping it just a little bit. It's coming off the paper a little bit, right? So don't feel like you have to stay on this little rectangle we've got going on. Let things flow a little bit, right? Let them have a good time. Come on across. We're going to put some dimensionals on this side. So as you recall, this purple piece with the Designer Series paper and the black matting, those are up 1 level, right? So this piece is up a level. So I need to bring this a little bit higher here. And again, I'm putting my dimensionals here, knowing that now I'm going to bring this across just about here. So I'll take those off. I will, once again, making sure this is the side I want to be glued. So I'm adding a little bit of glue here so it'll catch on this side. And then I'm going to bring this in here and put this down right about so. The glue, I'm going to slide it a little bit. I know it's almost a shame to cover the flowers up at all, right? But you can definitely kind of work around that as well. If that's not your ideal layout, that's perfectly okay. The creativity is all yours to have. So we're going to bring in these cute little embellishments again. And I brought the birdies back in because I thought those worked really well. So we're going to bring in one that's kind of coming into the flowers here. And I've got this, they kind of come different directions, right? So I'm going to bring this guy in up here, and then I'm going to bring one more birdie out kind of off this way, just like that. So I got my 3 little birds up here at the top. Those are so pretty. Oh my goodness. I love how bold and gorgeous this color combination is. Like these berries and purples and yellows. A little bit of spring green, right? Super pretty. So there's card number 3. Let's bring our cards back in. This is where we ooh and ah over all of them because this is a really pretty card set. So again, this is with the Simply Zinnia brand new bundle coming. This will be available to purchase starting tomorrow in the online store. Lots of new online products are coming, which is amazing. So tomorrow will be a good day to wake up and check out what's available, right? What new goodies is Stampin' Up! Teasing you with this time? Now remember, if you're ordering with me this week, you'll be able to get the, I'm just checking out your comments. You guys are fun. You'll be able to get my card class. If you're ordering with me this week using the host code, $40 order gets you 6 card kits. $50 order gets you the card kits plus the dragonfly embellishments, which is fantastic. Jess loves the purple. And Jess, it's okay to check it all out later. I understand. I completely understand with little buddy there. So you got to do what you got to do for sure. Thanks Sandra for saying that's very pretty. I love these cards. I love how bright and springy they are. We're in March. We are ready for those springtime colors. So again, if you love this class and you love the Zinnias and you want the bundle, consider contacting me to do the March Card Maker Club. I'm calling it the Card Maker Club. I've changed it up a little bit. I will be talking a little bit more about that this week as well. But Card Maker Club is completely separate from your weekly order. Amy loves card number 3. That's my favorite too, Amy. It's so bold and beautiful. I absolutely adore it. All right, thank you so much. Leave your questions here. Again, the online exclusives start tomorrow. The Zinnia bundle, the Zinnia products, they're going to be flying off the shelves. So let me know if you're interested in the club this month. You'll get some of these products from me through that, and you'll get another set of 8 cards as well. So thanks for hanging out and joining me tonight for this great card class. I appreciate your time, and I will be back on Thursday at 3 with a Zinnia fun fold card. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure you're checking it out. If you're not on my email newsletter yet, jump on it because I will share the fun fold recipe on Thursday morning, and then I'm doing the card class at 3 p.m. So if you're watching and you have all the supplies, you could actually cut them up and then craft for me Thursday afternoon as well. Thanks, Sandy. I love that you love all of them. All right, everybody, I appreciate your comments, and until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye.